Let us know your thoughts on the content of this video. Do you agree or disagree? And what solutions are you implementing?
Okay, well, near West Side, you don't have to look very far. You can look right out the window here to Lorraine Avenue. Lorraine Avenue is a very large street tract that we call it. It all starts obviously with the heroin epidemic. Most of the people that you see out here on the streets, for those driving up and down Lorraine, if you haven't seen it, if you live in this neighborhood, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, when you leave here, just drive up from 49th and go up to 83rd. I guarantee you're going to see what we used to call streetwalkers. Most of these people who are out here on Lorraine Avenue are addicted to some sort of drug, whether it's cocaine, whether it's crack cocaine, or whether it's heroin. And traffickers, for those who don't understand the difference between traffickers and regular street prostitution, traffickers are the ones who exploit these young ladies and young boys and make money off of them. So whether they're doing commercial sex acts in order to get money to buy dope, or they're turning commercial sex acts to give directly to the trafficker, it's all the same. That person is exploiting that particular individual for monetary purpose. Now, for those who live on this side of town, you know what I'm talking about here in Lorraine, but let's not forget, we have other tracks too. We have Detroit. We have Detroit. I like to talk and walk away. Detroit, Franklin Avenue, even Edgewater Park. I mean, there are very distinct street tracks here on the west side of Cleveland, the near west side. So my personal experience with it is that years ago, when I was assigned with the FBI, we were getting a lot of complaints from a lot of businesses around here, especially on Lorraine Road, that, you know, we have these antique businesses that used to thrive, and now people are afraid to come down here because of what they are encountering on the street. It's easier to go someplace else than to want to come down. I mean, Fredericks, I used to buy my bicycles from Fredericks, right there. Fredericks now, I don't even know if it's still even in business. I mean, they used to tell us, you can go upstairs and you can observe. You can see what's going on. You can do surveillance from there. We've been trying to clear these streets from Lorraine, believe it or not, in my book, in my mind, for over the last 7 years. And if it's, you know, people say, oh, look, you know, I don't see much of it. Well, it's getting warm out. You're going to see a whole lot of it. So those are my experiences with the near west side.
We seen a girl on our way here from the center, literally changing her clothes and getting ready for the street. So that's my perspective.
And I would tell you what's going on here in your community is no different than what's going on in Kinsman, Collinwood, Solon, Independence, Westlake, North Olmsted, all of these communities. It may just look a little bit different in each one of these communities, but it's nothing that is saying, hey, you're a target in your community. That's not it. It's just that trafficking is happening in every corner of our community, and we have to combat it together. The other thing of it is that one of the things that we have a responsibility as community members, if you see something, say something. Trafficking, I started working trafficking professionally in 2006 at the Cleveland Rape Crisis Center, but the first person I engaged with was my best friend in junior high school. She started working the streets on Kinsman Avenue. Her mom was addicted to crack cocaine. Her mom's boyfriend got her addicted, her and her sister addicted, and had them selling their bodies out there on the street. Everybody knew what was going on. Everybody saw it, but nobody contacted the police. Nobody got them help. So many of the young girls that we engage with through Judge Reeney's docket, through John Morgan and Recover Him, say that people knew what was going on and nobody helped them. So it's really important if you see something, and maybe it's wrong, but if you just call the police and bring them in so they can possibly see what's going on with that child, or call 696 Kids, ask the person, how can I help you? Do you need help? Know other numbers that's in the community that can provide these resources. The other thing we have to do a better job, if you notice in the film, what did everybody have in common? All of the survivors. What? What else? Child sex abuse. They were previously, before they were trafficked, they were previously abused as children. And so many of our clients tell us this story over and over again that they disclosed. Nobody believed them. They were often sent back home to their perpetrators. And then so many of our girls say they left home because home wasn't safe. And they felt they had a little bit more control over their trafficking situation. So as a whole, if we can combat sexual violence, we can combat human trafficking as well.
A few things that I'm astounded by. I'm astounded by websites, and we've learned about the dark web, where men or women can go on and get whatever they wish. So when I have a 14-year-old who's been on Backpage, and Detective Morgan and Teresa Stafford know that they've been identified, so here they are selling themselves as an 18-year-old, and then our country, we allow this to happen because how are we going to interfere with commerce when it's nothing more than selling children? And unfortunately, it's selling children for the sex trade. One of the things that I want everyone to be aware of is, taking off of what Teresa Stafford said, is when you see something and you say something, what we don't want to do is push this to another street or push this to another neighborhood. We really want to engage these children, and they are children, and they are amazing. They are smart, they are articulate, but they've had awful childhood. And when I learned that the primary person that purchases a child is, how old, Detective Morgan? And what race? And single or married? Married. And see, this is the stuff, this is what astounds me, is because we have to break the cycle. So when you see something and say something, everyone has to engage and try and wrap the youth up to make them feel better. We talk about self-esteem. I tell these girls when they're in front of me, look, women should be ruling the world because we're the ones here, nothing personal. But they need to be empowered, and that's why Renee Jones Center is so important, because that is where they will get the strength to say no. So thank you for being here.